So state and local governments have the same concerns that we have with the private sector companies. State and local governments own and operate critical infrastructure, and of course they collect and house quite a lot of personal information about citizens that needs to be protected. Sensitive information like what's on your driver's license, tax records, property records, your children's school records, law enforcement records. All of these things contain citizen-sensitive data, and we need to make sure that those data are protected. So I think the states have similar concerns to the private sector. As I said, state governments operate a lot of critical infrastructure, water plants, power plants, those sorts of things. Many are operated by local municipalities. Again, and protecting that citizen information is really critical. And states, of course, operate networks. They have operational impacts on citizens, so we're very concerned that those operations are maintained, that they have resilience, and they need to be protected. I think that as with other sectors, the states are becoming more and more aware of cyber challenges. We have a lot of work that we've been doing with governors to make them aware of this issue, the cyber issue, as a critical risk that they need to manage in their positions as the CEOs for the states. So I think the awareness has been helping with getting them to take some action that they need to take, and we've been working on how we can help governors on the federal side. Both DHS and FBI have a role with reaching out to states and helping them deal with the cybersecurity issues. So I think the awareness and the availability of assistance have been growing in the past couple of years, so this is good news. I think the challenge is awareness, but then it's also what to do about it. Everyone, I think, now understands, because we've seen so many media reports on breaches, data breaches, from public sector to private sector networks. So that awareness is coming, and I think cybersecurity can be overwhelming. A lot of people think about it as a technical issue. They don't quite know what to do. They don't know where to begin because it seems overwhelming. So I think that's the area of concern that we're working on, of making sure that not just that we raise awareness, but then we provide tools and the ability and the partnership with the federal government that states can draw from to take action in this area. So we've worked for the past 18 months very intensely with the National Governors Association, with assists from NASCIO and other state-focused organizations in developing a framework for cooperation with the states. And that the National Governors Association with the Council of Governors signed out a framework for cooperation. It's a joint action plan on cybersecurity, unity of effort. It's got a very long name. Was signed out by the Council of Governors last summer at their summer meeting. And this has really been helpful because this sets up a way for states to collectively articulate what their needs are in cyber, but then also it sets up a way for the federal government as a whole to cooperate with states, because it's not just about what DHS can do or what FBI can do or what the states can do with the National Guard. It's about us collectively providing the tools and capabilities that are needed to the states. So this is a great basis on which we can build from, and so I think that was a very important milestone last year. So I think states can take advantage of all of the policies that the president has put out in the past year or more. So we've, most recently the president held a cybersecurity summit at Stanford back in February and signed an executive order on information sharing. And we want states to participate in that. And in fact, this past Monday, April 20th, the state of Virginia announced that they're forming the first state-based information sharing and analysis organization. So they're already responding to the president's executive order. Back last October, the president signed an executive order on increasing consumer financial protections that called for chip and PIN technology to be instantiated within the federal government. And we're seeing other states respond to this and looking at how they can take similar actions at the state level to improve the security of consumer financial protection. So we're working hand in glove with a lot of states to take action at the local level that mirrors some of the action we're taking at the national level. I think it's an ongoing partnership. It's a developing partnership. And so one of the key issues that we're promoting in cybersecurity is this information sharing concept, which the President's executive order addressed. But I think we're building the partnerships across the board on any number of issues, from protection to incident response to recovery and resilience. We're building these capabilities at the federal level, and we are reaching out to the state to help them build their capabilities. At the federal level, we've spent a lot of time working on coordinating our efforts internally so that we can better serve our external partners. And we're asking the states to work on coordinating internally as well. Cyber is a team sport, and it works best when you get all the members of the team together. So states have a complicated picture of trying to get the state CIO, working with state law enforcement, working with the governor's Homeland Security Advisor, working with the National Guard, working with first responders, working with fusion centers. So there's a lot of folks that governors need to get together to figure out roles and responsibilities for the mission. And so we're working on helping states with that and our internal plumbing and wiring within the federal government so we can partner together more effectively and bring in the private sector. So everybody gets to play, but we're figuring out the roles and responsibilities between federal government, state government, private sector, but everybody has a role.